What's he gonna do? What's his plan? I could hear the sound of footsteps crunching upon the flowers in his fortune. I was unable to move as Anko carried me in his arms until we reached his destination. The very field of Lycoris Neorchis where I was born. Confirming that no one else was around, Anko slowly lowered himself with me still in his arms. He then took the dagger that he had rested upon me earlier and brought the blade closer to himself. The next moments, my vision blurred as a certain sight played out in front of me. He mercilessly stabbed himself in the neck, over and over again. But with each stab, smoke rose from his wounds to heal the injury.
やはりこれぐらいの傷じゃ死ねないか。
I guess I can't kill myself through something as simple as this.
最後ぐらいお前との思い出が詰まったもので死にたかったんだが。
I thought I could die here, with memories of being with you. But it's of no use. I was too weak to tell him to stop.
一体
What's...
何がダメだったんだろうな。
what went wrong this time?
俺がお前の運命を無理やりねじ曲げたから。
Is it me? Is it because I twisted your fates by force?
また別の絶望へと誘ってしまったのか。
Is that why I've been led down another path of despair?
だとしたら他にどうすればよかったんだ。
But... what else could I have done? He lamented something I didn't understand. Anko embraced me in his arms as she shook.
俺はただお前を救い幸福な人生を送る姿を見届けたくて。
I just wanted to save you and see you live a life of happiness.
それだけの思いでこの時に戻ってきたというのに。
So he is Doctor Who. That's the only reason I returned to this time.
どうしてまた目の前でお前を失わなきゃならない。
So why? Why do I have to see you die in front of me again? He cried with all his might. The Watchman of Death, who kept a calm and nonchalant demeanor all this time, shook with sorrow from the impending death of a girl like me. Why was Anko so sad? I tried to pick up fragments from what he said, but he was trying to save my life from burning out. He held me as if to protect me. The strength in my arms and the kindness he showed reminded me of someone. Someone I knew very well. Just stop already. Unbelievable. Uncle, why are you being so cruel to Adolf? And you, Adolf. You're fighting back against everything Uncle says without hearing him out.
それはこいつがあまりにも身勝手だから。
It's because he's just thinking about himself. Oh, good. There it is.
お前のシチューは昔からずっとうまいままだな。
Your stew is as good as always. Thank you. I'm glad you haven't gotten tired of it after all these years. Uncle? Do you not like it?
あ、いや。
No.
あまりにも美味だったから少し驚いてしまってね。
I was simply startled by how delicious it was.
これほど優しい味の料理を食べるのは一体何百年ぶりだろう。
It has been hundreds of years since I have tasted food so exquisite.
いいか、もう二度とそんなこと考えるな。残される俺やマムたちのことを考えろ。
Listen, don't you dare think about killing yourself again. Think of how Mother or I would feel.
あの探検は他でもないお前がガキの頃俺の身に危険がないようにと。
That dagger was the one you gave me when we were kids.
お守り代わりにお礼を送ってくれた剣だろ。そんなことに使わせるために受け取ったんじゃない。
You gave it to me as a talisman against danger. I didn't accept it just so you could use it on yourself. You're right. I'm sorry. Let me give it back to you. Wait.
なんだ、もしかしてなくしたのか。
What? Did you lose it? I think so. I'm really sorry.
いい。お前の話から察するに多分リコリスの花畑のどこかに落ちてるだろう。
It's fine. Judging by what you said, you probably left it by the licorice field somewhere.
あそこによく足を運ぶ知り合いがいるから拾っていないか聞いておく。間違っても一人で探しに行こうとするな。
I know someone who goes there regularly, so I'll ask him to check. Don't go back there yourself, got it? Adolf's dagger. Uncle, why did you have that? You've been carrying it all this time, since the night I dropped it, Uncle?
ああ、だが今の今まで返すのをすっかり忘れていたよ。
Yes, but I completely forgot about returning it to him. Well, I can return it to Adolf for...
いや、これは後で私から彼に返しておこう。
No. I will return it to him later.
だからやめろって。
Hey, stop this already.
言ってんだろ。
I said stop! Huh?
セレスからもらった探検が。
The dagger I got from Ceres. 2 of them. I understood now. I finally realized The Watchman of Death, Anko. The person who watched over me like another older brother. His real name was... Adolf. Dun dun dun! Okay, I'll admit I wasn't quite expecting that, but if he is confirmed time traveler, I guess it's not too crazy. But like the features, he doesn't look... Or is he Adolf from a different dimension? Like a different timeline? And that's why he looks different? Adolf. Yeah.
ああ、お前にその名で呼ばれるのは数百年ぶりだな。
It's been hundreds of years since you called me by that name.
ずっとお前に会いたかったんだ、セレス。
I wanted to see you again for so long, Ceres. Really? So, you really? Dear God, I have killed so many people. I accept that I am a sinner. I have no right to live again. But if Anko is Adolf, how is he in the same space as Adolf, interacting with himself? Isn't that against, like, the rules of time? Whatnot? Like, interacting with yourself? That was the beginning of my despair. I didn't make it in time. Why?
どうしてこんなことに。
Why has this happened?
頼む、セレス。いつもみたいに俺の名を呼んでくれ。
Please, Ceres. Please call my name, like you usually do.
俺はまだお前に何一つ生きる希望を与えていない。
I haven't given you a single hope to live for yet. Why? Why had this happened? won't accept this ending. The death that took her from me, the curse, and whoever was responsible.
いつかこの手で殺してやる。
One day, I will kill them all. The small country of Arpachel was surrounded by the sea in fields of black licorice. Those born here were said to live under the dreaded curse of death, who had ruled over the land since ancient times. The longest one could live was 18 years old. Born in such a twisted country, she was looked down upon as death from birth. My beloved Ceres was blamed for the strange deaths that occurred. She ended up dying in her youth at 18, using the dagger she once gave me. Unable to endure the despair of losing her, I lived like a hollow shell of my former self. My identity was also uncovered. They found out I lived longer than 18 years, so they captured and used me as a test subject at the institutes. The person who captured me was the gift of God, Scien, and according to what he said, as someone from the outside world, my chromosomes were very different from those who lived in this country. He conducted experiments on them. He then had a theory that the identity of the Death's Curse was akin to a genetic disorder. Using that theory and his research results as a foundation, he used my flesh and blood to see if he could create a cure. Just thinking about the experiments Scien conducted on me made me want to vomit. But as a result...
なんだ、傷口が勝手に塞がって。
My wounds, they're closing.
シアンプロビュアーズ、お前、俺の体に何をしやがった。
Bro Fies, what the hell did you do to me?
これじゃまるで化け物。
I'm like a monster now.
そうだ。お前はその比喩の通り。
That's right. It's exactly as you described.
条件を満たさない限り死ぬことが不可能な。
Unless certain criteria are met, you are now unable to die.
永遠を生きる不老不死の化け物になった。
In other words, you are an immortal monster that can live for eternity. Apparently, my cells were able to divide at a rapid rate, forcing me to heal myself. Later, after 103 years had passed, the reason behind the curse was still a mystery, and the people continued their lives, relying upon reliable technology. A medicine was created from my blood to extend the lifespans of those in Arpachel, and soon the country was open to the world. But they still conducted their torturous experiments on my body as a test subject when one day...
アドルフ、無事！ヒューゴも一緒に来てるから、一緒に逃げよう！
Adolfo, you alright? Hugo's here with me, so let's get you out of here. After Yves became a reliver and cured the burns on his face, he and his partner Hugo arrived to rescue me. They then decided to hide me at Karun. It was then I was finally able to visit Ceres sleeping in her grave in Yves's garden.
あいつは
She
本当に死んじまったんだな。
really died.
俺がのうのうと不死の化け物になっている間、ずっとここに一人で眠ってたのか。
She was sleeping all alone, while I lived all these years as some undead monster.
アドルフ。
Just as I muttered words of regrets, I noticed some flowers I had never seen before growing around her grave. They were ominous flowers that looked like flames, burning under the night sky.
この花を見るのは初めて。この国では俺の庭か海辺近くのうちの墓の周りでしか咲いてないもんね。
Is this the first time you've seen these? They only bloom in my garden and around my family's grave near the ocean.
綺麗でしょ。リコリスって言うんだよ。
Pretty, aren't they? They're called lycorises.
遠い昔、俺のご先祖様がこの国で初めて咲かせることができて以来、代々守り育ててきたんだ。
Long ago, an ancestor of mine made them bloom here. And since then, it's been a family tradition to protect and nurture them. Yves spoke about it like it was a hobby, but his family story also mentioned that the flowers should never be plucked. Some of Yves's ancestors tried to get rid of them, saying they didn't fit the scenery, but those who did apparently died. At first, I thought they were horrible flowers, but hearing Yves explain their deaths in detail reminded me of the misfortunes surrounding Ceres. I explained so to Yves and searched his place, finding a diary written by his ancestor which stated, the lycorises were originally either red or white in color. These flowers possessed an allopathic effect. They absorbed harmful compounds from soil and transformed into the black flowers they were today. It dawned on me. Maybe that harmful component was the source of this country's curse, and the reason she was called Death. With that possibility in mind, I went to see Scien at the risk of being captured again, in order to ask for his help. After analyzing the lycorises, as well as the book on botany that Yves had with him, I learned that the toxins in this country were the source of the curse, and that the lycorises' ability had a significant effect. Ceres' blood was analyzed to research their similarities, and the result was she was scientifically proven to be Death. Her spreading misfortune was actually a trait that replicated the ability of the lycorises. I also discovered that many of the incidents that occurred were caused by the royal family, who sought to gain eternal youth in life. But that information came a little too late.
このリコリスが国中に咲き誇っていれば、
So if these lycorises were grown across the country,
セレスは死神なんて呼ばれず、普通の人間として生きることができたんじゃないか。
could Ceres have been able to live as a normal human without being called Death? It was soon afterward I got in contact with a certain man. A reliver from the Claude family, known for their translations, was imprisoned, but avoided sentencing for his crimes. The man named Camille shared some knowledge with me. A story about miraculous technology that was being researched outside of this country, allowing people to leap through time. Of course, I could hardly believe in such a thing, but what if that technology existed? If I used it, I could potentially see Ceres again. With a sliver of hope, I decided to go out and look for this miracle. I brought along some licorice bulbs that Yves prepared. I then stole knowledge of the medicine that was created with my flesh and blood. Once ready, I escaped the Institute to leave the country. Yves agreed to help me with my newfound mission. Together, we left the country with the licorice bulbs that we thought would be the key to saving Ceres. But
Even!
Yves was impaled by multiple swords.
言って、アドルフ。
Go, Adolf!
大切な彼女助けたいんだろ。なら俺のことなんて構わないで。
You want to save her, right? Then just leave me and go.
向こうの俺によろしく。また親友になってくれたら嬉しいな。
Give my regards to the other me, will you? I hope we can become friends again. He rescued me from Scien then killed him, so I could search for a way to go back in time unimpeded. He boldly stood against the man known as God, and sacrificed his own life to send his friend out on his journey. It was the noble end of a hero's life. What if... What if Ceres had reunited with Yves, with his unbending fortitude much sooner? What if they were destined to be together? Maybe then she would have held on to hope and chosen to live instead of die. I continued my journey with that regret in my heart, along with a grudge and hatred for Scien. In the end, I finally found myself in another land, where I discovered and stole the premature miracle to jump into the past. It was in the form of a blue phone booth. Or police box. Using Yves as a precious sacrifice, I finally found myself back in time, long before Ceres was born. It was Arpachel, 500 years before the period of time I came from.
ここが大昔のアルペシエル。
So this is how Arpachel used to look.
今から俺がこの国にリコリスを植えれば、
If I can start growing these licorices now,
きっとあいつを救えるはずだ。待ってろ、セレス。
I'm sure I'll be able to save her. Just you wait, Ceres. I planted the licorice bulbs given to me by my dear friend, all across Arpachel. Years, decades, hundreds of years. So long that memories I had of my friend, my foster mother, and Ceres were beginning to fade. My form slowly changed as my cells continued to divide.
すっかり元の面影がなくなっちまったな。
I looked like a completely different person. Even if I did get to see her again.
俺がアドルフだなんて絶対に気づかないだろうな。
I bet she won't be able to recognize me as Adolf. The Lycorises. No. The Lycoris neurges that I grew were slowly absorbing the toxins from the soil. The flowers surrounded the island on all sides, becoming a symbol of the curse in this country. After hundreds of years, I was able to extend the lifespan of the people here from 18 to 23 years. But it wasn't enough. It didn't get rid of the curse of death that would plunge her into the depths of misfortune. Hundreds of years passed, until it was 80 years before our current time. Even after Scien was born.
どうしてだ。これだけリコリスを増やしたのに土壌の毒素が完全に消えない。
Why? After so many Lycorises, why haven't the toxins completely disappeared?
他にまだ何か条件があるのか。リコリスについての知識をこの時代で持ってるやつは。
Is there some other condition? The person who has the knowledge of the Lycorises in this age is...
第一の漂流者、イブの先祖。
The first drifter. Yuvez's ancestor.
リコリスの花を持ち込んだ本人に聞けば何か。
Maybe I can find out more about the Lycorises from the person who brought us that book. The drifter had escaped the hands of Scien's grandfather and hid himself and his family in a desolate area. I somehow found him and asked for his guidance. He wore unusual attire, had shiny black hair, and a childlike face with the slightest tints of Yuvez's. The drifter was surprised to hear about my situation, but he had himself wondered why the flowers from his homeland looked so different in this foreign land. So he believed my story and imparted his knowledge to me. But
リコリス、彼岸花について君は何か誤解しているようだ。
it seems you have misunderstood the properties of the Lycoris, the Higanbana.
あの花の性質はあくまで土壌の成分を溜め込むことであり、毒を打ち消すわけではない。
The flowers are only able to absorb compounds from the soil, but do not possess the ability to neutralize them.
なんだと。
What's...
根本的な解決をしたいのなら、土壌に潜む毒素に対する特効薬の開発が必要だ。
If you truly wish to find a solution, you will need to develop an antidote that can fight the toxins lurking in the soil.
特効薬。
Antidotes.
そんな。なら、俺が今までやってきたことは全部。
So what you're saying is that everything I've done...
無駄だったってのか。このままあの時代に戻ってもセレスを救えない。
All of it was for nothing. Even if I return to this time, I can't save Ceres. What I had spent centuries doing couldn't save Ceres. The truth crushed my soul, but...
なら、君自身が抗体になってはどうだろうか。
Why don't you develop the antibodies yourself?
抗体
The antibodies.
咲き誇るリコリスノワージュを通し、 あえて土壌の毒を含むことで
If you consume these licorice neochus blossoms, you can develop a resistance against the toxins.
抗体毒素へ抵抗する力を自分自身の体で育むのだ
In essence, you will be using your own body to nurture the ability to resist them.
当然数輪の話ではないこれだけ強力な毒素となると
Of course, a few flowers will not be enough. The toxin is extremely potent, powerful.
いや下手をしたら100年近くもの間君はリコリスノアージュの摂取に集中しなければならないだろう
Which means that in order to build resistance, you will need to consume them for years, perhaps even 100 years. Whether I could consume enough in time for Cereza's birth was 50-50.
だが呪いの剣がなくともリコリスにはもともと強力な毒が宿っている
Note that even without the curse, the licorices contain a powerful poison.
そんなものをはめば当然君はのたうち回りろくに動くことができなくなる
Consuming them will cause you pain, so intense that it will temporarily rob you of your movements.
それでも君は
Are you still going to?
いいぜやってやるさ
Yeah, let's do this.
ここまで来たんだあいつを救うためなら交代にでも何でもなってやるよ
I've come this far. I'll develop the antibodies myself if it means I can save her. I had no doubt about my decision. Apparently, the Drifter was moved by my resolve.
では君が命を落としてリコリスをはむ間
Very well. As you risk your life to consume the licorices,
我ら血族が生涯をかけ国中をこの花で埋め尽くしてみせよ
my bloodline and I will devote our lives to grow them across the country in your place. He proposed a contract with me to protect and nurture the flowers, knowing that his bloodline would be blamed.
感謝するこの恩は永遠に忘れない
I appreciate this. I'll never forget your kindness. The Drifter laughed, saying not to worry, and proceeded to fabricate a story to relay through the generations of his bloodline. If the Arpichel royal family found out what they were planning, they would have come to kill us for good. So he helped me prepare clothing to match my otherworldly appearance, and support the fairy tale if anyone were to lay eyes on me.
もしかしたら私の末裔の誰かがこの真実に気づき君に助力する時が来るかもしれないがね
Maybe one of my descendants will learn the truth behind the story and offer you help one day. He went on to call me the Watchman of Death, set up the world of Hades, and even taught me how I should speak to play the role. He seemed to be enjoying himself so much that a part of me was concerned by how enthusiastic he was about the whole thing. I don't blame him too much. I don't blame him. But I wasn't imaginative enough to come up with a story of my own, so I pretty much let him handle anything.
では契約と友好の証として私から君に新たな名を贈ろう
Now then, as proof of our contracts and friendship, let me give you a new name.
いささか安直だがアドルフの別名アンクーという名はどうだろう
Maybe a cliche, but instead of Adolf, may I suggest the name Uncle?
こことは別の国で死神という意味を持つ名だ神秘的な今の君にふさわしい
It's the name used by the harbinger of death in another country. It would be very fitting for the story.
アンクー、それが俺の新しい名前。
So that's my new name. I repeated the name over and over again, then gave my thanks to the drifter yet again.
これは呪いではなく約束だ。
This is not a curse, but a promise.
ありがとう、友よ。君たちが守るリコリスのワージュを。
Thank you, my friend. The Lycoris Neotius, your bloodline will protect.
救済の未来につなげてみせると。いや、私はここで誓おう。
I promised that they would lead to salvation in the future. From then on, I withdrew even further from the public eye, spending my days consuming the poisonous lycorices. Ow. As the drifter said, I suffered in agony over the pain it caused me.
こんな苦痛をあと数十年以上自分から摂取しろというのか。
This much pain. And I have to keep eating these things for decades?
上等だ。私は、俺は絶対やり遂げてやる。
Bring it on. I'm going to do this if it's the last thing I do.
生きているセレスに会えるなら。
I'm doing this to see Ceres alive again.
生きているセレスに会うんだ。
I will see Ceres alive again.
生きているセレスに会いたい。
I want to see Ceres alive.
生きているセレスに会えない。
Ceres isn't alive.
「まだセレスは生まれてこないのか。
Ceres still isn't born yet.
どうして俺はこんな場所で一人誰にも知られずのたうち回ってる。
Why am I in a place like this, suffering so much pain all alone?
どうしてどうしてどうしてどうしてどうしてどうしてどうしてどうして。
Why?
もう一人は嫌だ。
I don't want to be alone anymore.
このままここで一人痛みに焼かれ続けるぐらいなら。
If I have to keep feeling this burning pain out here,
死に逃げたい。
I'd rather die and escape it. But still,
君の
I
生きている姿が見たいんだ。
want to see you alive. Even if my memories were lost to insanity, I would never forget the day you killed yourself. Seemingly endless years passed. My mind became more fractured, and I spoke to myself since there was no one else. Finally, that fateful day arrived. I crawled through the field of lycrises to get to you. I heard the voice of a newborn Ceres, crying desperately from the pain of birth.
やっと会えたな。
At long last, we meet again. I wanted to reach out to your fragile self, but my antibodies weren't ready. My body was still in severe pain, working to build the resistance I needed, preventing me from moving how I desired. With frustration, I watched you leave. I then continued to consume as many lycorises as possible in order to absorb the toxins. Still, the antibodies were far from ready, though I could feel I had greater resistance than it had decades before. It was more than enough for me to regain the mobility to walk again over the years. And when that fateful moment came, I rushed to the place where my powerless past self had arrived a second too late.
やっと会えた。
Finally,
会いたかった。セレス。
how I've missed you, Ceres.
俺は二度とお前を死なせない。今度こそ
I will not let
守
you
っ
die
て
again.
みせる。
I will absolutely protect you this time. After hundreds of years, I was finally able to reach out and keep you from death. It was a long journey of living through suffering. So Uncle was really...
セレスを失った。未来から来た。俺。
Ceres. It's me, Adolf. From a future where I lost you. Uncle quietly nodded to himself and began to talk about everything from when we were finally reunited. I was planning on telling you what the curse was and how to fight it the moment we met Ceres. But... Uncle, was it? Let me ask you something. If I really am death, then why was I born as a human in this country? Why does my existence bring death to those around me? Can you answer that?
もちろん知っているとも。それは
Why, of course. That is because
君がのを有しているからで。
you possess the genes of the Lycris. Hmm? There were two of us in the same timeline. Because another Adolf existed here. My current form was unable to share any information that was unknown at the time. All I could do was have her drink the incomplete antibodies through my blood, temporarily diluting the effects of her nature. In order to break through that interference, I needed to either lead my helpless past self to the truth with her, or he would need to be killed.
死者が増えすぎて冥界側というよりこの国の担当である私が非常に困っているんだ。
The increased number of departing souls has given me some trouble as the watchman.
このままでは輪廻のバランスが崩壊することは必然。
If this keeps up, it will completely disrupt the balance of reincarnation.
そこで散らされる命の削減を同胞たる君に願いたい。
And so, I asked my dear partner to assist in reducing the number of deaths.
すなわち人々の救済だ。
In other words, to save the living.
私と契約を結んだ上でこの国に救ういずれかの死の真実にたどり着いたその時は
I wish for you to be able to enter into a contract with me. If you are able to arrive at the truth behind the deaths,
お礼として私の力で君を普通の人間の女の子へ戻してあげよ
I will use my power to turn you into an ordinary human girl. Frustrated that I could only tell you the truth, that I couldn't tell you the truth, I quickly decided to offer you that contract. This brought me time to strengthen my antibodies and helped uncover the truth so that I could speak. By going after each incident, you would learn about the Arpachel royal family's involvement, as well as Capuchin's. I thought if I could get you to learn about the toxins in the New Arch family's book, I would be able to save you, Ceres.
う。そう思っていたのに。
Yes, I had hoped so. I never expected that the mastermind behind everything would change entirely.
18の寿命。本来の歴史では生まれるはずのなかった。
Extending,
だと。リアム・レーブ・ポワール。
extending the 18-year lifespan resulted in a child who should have never been born. Donuts. Liam Weatherpar.
俺が植えたリコリスによって延命したあの意味語のせいで。
That cursed child only existed because I extended people's lifespans by growing the Lycorises.
すべてが無に返った。なんであんな男を救ってしまったんだ。
It's his fault that everything was ruined. Why in the world did I save him? Adolf. The current Adolf was at a loss for words after hearing about his tumultuous journey. And now, the Adolf in front of me.
俺はまた救うことができなかった。
I wasn't able to save you again.
もう疲れた。
I'm so tired. My bats. He held me in his limp arms as I prepared to die.
このままお前が理不尽な痛みに苦しみ狂いながら行く姿を見るぐらいなら
If I'm going to have to see you suffer in such agony, just so you go insane as you take your last breath,
いっそ人間としての姿と尊厳を完全に奪われる前に
I need to protect your dignity as a human before you lose what is left of you.
セレス俺と共に死んでくれ
Ceres, please die with me.
お前のいない世界で終われない永遠を生きるなんて耐えられない
I can't bear to live in a world without you for all eternity. He earnestly wished for his long and cruel journey to come to an end with me. He's really had it rough. He has not had it easy. Riding on the wind, Honko's wish reached Adolf's ears.
お前が本当に俺なのだとしたら、その絶望は痛いほどわかる。
If you really are me, then I understand your despair very well.
だが、その絶望にセレスを巻き込むことだけは許さねえ。
I won't ever let you drag Ceres into your despair.
セレスの命はセレスだけのものだ。
Ceres's life is hers and hers alone.
俺たちが感情任せに結末を押し付けていいものじゃない。
It's not our right to push our own feelings onto her. Adolf drew his sword out with rage, to which Anka responded with intense hatred.
この後に及んで綺麗事を
Still idealistic, are you?
お前は俺はいつもそうだ口だけは達者で
You. I was always like that. All talk and no action.
今までもこれからも現実にしたことなんて一度もなかったくせに
Whether now or in the future, you've never once done anything good for her.
お前はまだ一度もセレスが死ぬ瞬間を見ていないからこいつの命の重さがわからないんだろうな
You don't understand the weight of Ceres's life because you've never seen her die in front of you.
そんなわけないだろうが。俺は
I know how much her life.
ならお前に理解できるか
You really don't understand, do you?
何を敵に回しても守りたいと思っていた女が
No matter how many enemies I made, the girl I loved and swore to protect.
暗いリコリスの花園の中央で一人孤独に冷たくなっているのを見つけた時の俺の感情
Was in a dark lycris field all alone, in solitude. Do you know what it feels like to find her cold and dead?
それは
That's...
はあ、わからないだろうな。お前は俺の介入のおかげで間に合ったんだから。
No. Of course you don't. You were only able to make it in time because I intervened.
つい数時間前まで俺の名前を奏でてくれた細い喉から
Back then, she spoke my name in a frail voice.
大量の血が流れ、それをリコリスたちが養分として吸って花びらの先に赤を宿す。
In the next moments, blood poured from her neck, painting the licorices red and giving them sustenance.
その上、そうだ、きっとすぐに死ねなかったんだろうな。
Still, she probably didn't die immediately after stabbing herself.
探検を突き刺した喉の周囲には苦しみ、爪でかきむしったような跡がついていた。
I found her with deep scratches along her neck, where she stabbed herself with that dagger.
そんな絶望的な光景を見ずに済んだお前が、俺は心から羨ましい。
I am envious from you from the bottom of my heart that you have never had to see that sight with your own eyes. Adolf suddenly went pale as he imagined that horrible scene in his mind.
それでも俺は
Still, I
セレスを死なせたくね
don't want Celeste to die. Hearing him not giving up on salvation, Anko's eyes widened to their limits. Then, in the blink of an eye, a huge hole opened in Adolf's chest. Was that really necessary? Adolf crumpled to the floor. In Anko's open hand, I saw a weapon that I had never seen before.
俺に戦う力がないと思い込んで油断してたな。
You let your guard down because you thought I couldn't fight, didn't you?
せ
Why?
その武器は今まで
That weapon. You never.
バカだな。お前が言ったんだぞ。
Don't be stupid. You said it yourself, didn't you?
惚れた女の命がかかってる以上、手段なんか選ぶわけねえだろ。
Since the life of the girl I love is at stake, I had no other choice.
本当にどうしようもない絶望的な状況にのみ使う切り札として徹底的に隠してたんだ。
I've kept this ace up my sleeve to use in a situation where there was no other way.
そう
Damn it. Adolf! I did my best to reach out to him, but my fingers couldn't even move. Anko lifted me up in his arms as I sank into despair, and then carried me slowly to Adolf. He pointed the weapon at his head. With deep sorrow, Anko spoke parting words to himself.
少しぐらいはお前のことを理解できると信じかけてた。
I actually believed I finally managed to understand you just a little.
だが結局
But in the end,
無力さゆえの絶望を知っているか否かで俺たちの道は分かれたな。
our paths diverged at the fork of the understanding, the despair from that came from our own powerlessness.
絶望も希望も知らないぬるま湯育ちのお前は最初の俺よりも無力なんだよ。
You grew up in an environment where you didn't know hope or despair, meaning you were even more powerless than me.
くそ俺は
Damn it, I... The bullet fired and punctured Adolf's forehead. He fell face down onto the ground, and his body slowly crumpled to ash. No. No. His body disappeared like melting snow. There can only be one, I guess. My consciousness faded from the unbearable heartache. Even until the very end, I was unable to fight the pain searching through my body to call Adolf by name.
目が覚めたか、セレス。
Are you awake, Ceres? Dull. The person I longed for was not in front of me, as he had passed away long ago. Instead, the one who responded to me was the other Adolf, who had turned into an immortal being that survived time itself. He held me in his arms. He then quietly walked toward the field of lycrous neoges that burned in crimson flame.
もうすぐだ。俺たちの終わりは。
Almost. It's almost over. Our end.
普通の傷では俺は死ねないが。
I can't die from normal injuries. But
毒素を大量に含んだリコリスの花をすべて燃やし尽くせば、解放された毒素が俺の抗体を上回り、
once all the lycruses are burned, they release enough toxins into the air that will overwhelm my antibodies.
不老不死の化け物さえ殺してくれる。
I'm sure it will be enough to kill an undead monster. So, he was saying he was going to die with me? But you can't. If the toxins release into the air, it will spread all over the country, killing everyone.
いらないだろう、こんな国。
Who needs a country like this? Huh? He held me even more strongly.
こんな国に生まれなければ、お前は普通の幸せを手に入れることができたんだ。
If you hadn't been born in this country, you could have lived a life of happiness like any other.
お前一人不幸になることを強いたこの国の運命と、この国の王となったダハトを、俺は許さない。
I will never forgive this country for destroying your happiness, or Donuts for becoming king. With that said, Anko took out a vial from his pockets, containing a strange colored liquid. He took out the matches I gave him before, then tossed it with the vial behind his back. 7 years ago, the same fire that burned Yves's face was now spreading rapidly across the Lycoris field. The toxins in the air increased, and a more intense pain began to surge through my body.
苦しいよな。悪い。でも汚染の発作は一瞬だ。
I'm sorry. It must hurt a lot. But your current contamination should end quickly.
本来なら花畑を燃やすことでまた毒素を大量に吸収することになるだろうが。
Under normal circumstances, burning the field of flowers should bring out the toxins, which should be more than enough, but
お前も知ってる通り、これは発火性だからな。
as you know, matches are highly combustible.
俺が火種に使った薬品と合わせれば、汚染よりもはるかに早く焼け死ねる。
Combined with the medicine I used to start the fire, it will burn us to death much faster than your cells can be contaminated. Anko then looked at the black fields of flowers that were supposed to be proof of his friendship with a dear friend, and he began to walk, burning the fields along the way. The toxins spread across the land, heralding the destruction of Arpachel. Finally, the Watchmen of Death had become death incarnates.
このリコリス・ノアージュの花畑を燃やせば最後だ。
This is the last one. Burning this field of Lycoris Neochus will bring us to our end.
ここからならいつものあの海辺もよく見える。
This place. We'll be able to see the ocean well from here.
はあ、ちょうどいい。ここをお前と俺の死に場所にしよう。セレス。
Perfect. This is where we'll both die, Ceres. I could hear the sound of screaming in the distance. I tried to tell him to stop, but my voice failed me as smoke began to burn my throat. But he was right.
どうだ。さっきの発作よりもまだ煙の苦しみの方がマシだろ。
See, suffering from the smoke is much faster than the agonizing cell mutation. I couldn't deny that. And besides, I couldn't bear to live through the pain and suffering of a world where Adolf didn't exist. Therefore, as he desired, Adolf and Anko, this place where I made dear memories of those two who were precious to me.
Oh. どうも静かだと思ったら。
No wonder it's quiet.
まだ火に焼かれていなくても、これだけ煙を吸えば気も失うか。
Breathing in all the smoke will make you unconscious before dying from the flames.
ここに来るまでもずいぶん連れ回したし。
I dragged you with me all the way here.
疲れさせて悪かった。
Sorry for tiring you out like this. I gently spoke to Cerez, who had already lost consciousness. Crimson spread across the field, and the end of this country became a reality in front of my eyes. This inferno of crimson wasn't what I wanted her to see. I wanted to show Cerez our Pachel, with the curse gone and the lycrisses blooming beautifully in white and red. But a pathetic man like me was unable to fulfill a simple wish like that.
なあ、セレス。
Say, Cerez?
どうしてお前のそばにいたのがよりにもよって無力な俺だったんだろうな。
I wonder why such a useless man like Adolf was allowed to be by your side.
もしもお前の運命がイブだったら。
If the man you were destined for was Yves,
お前はもっと早く死神の異名を振り払おうとする勇気を持てたかもしれない。
maybe you would have given each other the courage to stand up against your nickname Death.
絶望的なことがあってもあいつの不屈の心がきっと希望に導いてくれた。
I'm sure he would have led you to hope with an unwavering heart, no matter how much despair you faced.
今だから言えるがずっとお前にイブを選んでほしいと思ってたんだぞ。
I can tell you now, but I actually wanted you to choose Yves in the end.
きっと俺の代わりにお前を救ってくれると思ってたから。
I thought he would be able to succeed in saving you when I couldn't. Or maybe
想像力のあるマティストだったら
if you instead chose Mathis with his imagination.
自分が無限の可能性を持つ人間だってことに気づいて
You might have been able to see the limitless possibilities in front of you.
今までとは全く異なる未来への道を進むことができたかもしれない。
Maybe you could have walked a completely different path into another future.
さすがにブローのリュカと恨みのあるシアン・ブロフィワーズは進める気になれないが
I can't say I'd recommend Lucas, who was Barreau, or that despicable Scien Brofis, but
あの二人でもお前に与えられるものは確かにあったはずだ。
I'm sure either one would have been able to do more for you.
他者の追従を許さぬ強さと本当に大切なものを見失わない一途さと誠実さ。
They both had unraveled strength and a determination that kept them from losing sight of what was important to them.
間違いなく悪人ではあるが揺るがぬ自我と定めた信念を最後まで貫くことのできる鋼の意志。
While they may both be villains, they each had an unshakable ego and will of steel to make their dreams a reality.
どいつもこいつも羨ましい。
I envy every last one of them.
お前に何も与えてやれないのは本当に普通な俺だけだったんだ。
I was only Adolf, and nothing more. A normal human who couldn't give you anything.
けどやっとお前のためにしてやれることを見つけた。
But finally, I finally found something that only I could do for you.
お前の孤独な死を一度見ている俺だからこそ。
I've seen you die a lonely death as uncle.
セレス、お前が死を望むほど苦しんでいるとき迷わず共に死ぬことを選んでやることができるんだ。
Ceres, when you suffer to the point of seeking death, I can fulfill your wish without hesitation.
もう二度とお前を一人では死なせない。
I will never, ever let you die alone again.
ずっと俺がそばにいる。
I will always be by your side.
間違っても誇れるような役目じゃないが。
I know my role isn't anything to be proud of, but
これが暗空としてお前に捧げられる世界で唯一の愛の形だ。
I, as uncle, can offer you love that can't be found anywhere in this world. I brushed her ash-covered cheek so that I could see her pale skin blooming with lycrases and... With trembling lips, I gave her a gentle kiss.
これが二度目のキスだってお前は知らないんだよな。
You don't know that this is my second kiss with you.
O yasumi, Ceres.
Good night, Ceres.
この口づけで永遠の死を誓い合って
With this kiss, I give you my vow of eternal death.
終焉を迎えよう。
Let us face it together. An end to my eternal life and journey. You were born again many times into despair, but with this, I would end your horrible fates. I would finally reap your life as death, once and for all. It's kind of sad. Yeah, after 7 hours, we made it. I probably could have made that shorter, but and here we go. Proof we got the end. The correct end. Damn, Adolf really, I think I get why people like Anko now. I think I kind of get it now. He went through a lot. He really did. But I wasn't expecting Anko and Adolf to be the same person. That was a bit of a surprise, I will say. Even though I did have the time travel theory already.
君を絶望させるだけの世界なんてなくなってしまえばいい。どれだけあがいたって運命が君を奪っていく。
How depressing would it
も
be
う疲れたよ。
if the fire ended up not
ど
killing
うか私を救っておくれ。共に終焉を迎えておくれ。
No, but really, it's like the fire ended up not killing Anko. That would be sad. That would be really sad. Here we go. There we go. Alright, so there we are. Ugh. My legs are falling asleep. Anyway, there we go. That was the Lost Salutes Roots in Virtue Evermore. Ugh. Ah. Oh, I'm tired. I'm drained. That was a good one, though. That was a good one. Ugh. Alright, but I am gonna go. Like I said, I'm getting tired. I was, halfway there to where I was gonna say I need to get up and get a coffee, but... Anyway. There we go, that was Virtue Evermore. So that means next week, we're gonna start the Salvation endings. We are now completely done with the Despair endings. So from here... no more sadness, no despair. Only happy endings. From next week onward. So that's... we have reached a milestone. We have reached a milestone. Yes. Alright, so, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing an art stream, and then we have our anime nights with, Solo Leveling and Romantic Killer. And that's all for this week. Ugh. So I am gonna head out. I hope everyone has a good night, morning, afternoon, evening. And I hope to see you all again. Alright, goodbye. Yeah, here.